Sue, both companies say that supply chain constraints were an issue.
Yeah, and CEO Tim Cook saying it cost $6 billion in the quarter just ended, and its impact will be much larger in the current quarter. As you see, the stocks are down. As mentioned, they were down as much as 5%. They have pared the losses. And let's get into some of the takeaways on Apple. The larger than expected supply woes were driven by computer chip shortages mainly, and some COVID-related manufacturing disruptions in Southeast Asia that Cook says have now been resolved. So the fourth quarter revenue did miss. It's important to point out it was only a slight miss. It was actually a strong quarter, just not as strong as forecast. And the miss was on the iPhones, the wearable accessories, and the Mac. The constraints hit all manner of devices, Cook said, and particularly the iPhone, the iPad, and the iMac, hence the lower sales in those areas. Notably, sales in China almost doubled. The services revenue came in far stronger than mentioned. The supply constraints, again, expected to continue. Cook also said that most iPhones bought in the U.S. are paid for now on a monthly plan. You're looking at the old times when people would line up for the new devices. Demand for these monthly plans on many other type of devices is also increasing, so they plan to roll out new plans in that regard. Analysts, however, are saying that the fact revenue in most categories did miss is stoking fears about supply chain issues heading into what for Apple is a very, very important holiday season.
For Amazon, of course, a holiday forecast is in focus as well. There's a lot of concern that this is going to see the end of the pandemic boom.
Yeah, and for Amazon, it's not just supply chain woes, of course, as you mentioned, it is demand. The key takeaways from this quarter, which was the first quarter, by the way, that the new CEO, Andy Jassy, was looking out over. Of course, he took over from Jeff Bezos in July. Labor and fulfillment costs could wipe out all holiday profit. You notice they're saying they could have zero profit in the fourth quarter. That's really incredible. And that comes from the fact that Jassy's saying the company is going to meet all of its obligations, but it's going to have to pay through the nose to do that. They have found new shipping ports to bring in their containers, but they're paying premiums for those. Notably, their operating loss in international business was the biggest quarterly loss since 2017. And they say the suppressed demand, that's really what everyone is listening for, could last till mid-2022. Again, compared to the pandemic, where everybody wanted everything yesterday, the numbers are down considerably. Analysts say that Amazon's weak fourth quarter guidance, with the high end of its range falling below consensus, suggests the company may not be immune to supply chain troubles pervading the retail industry, even though they say they'll spend everything they have to make sure they're not impacted.